automotive sector, what it's facing right now in terms of technological disruption is driven largely by carbon emission. I happen to be a 92 batch civil servant.
Wow.
Life is about 60, 70 odd years. Relationships are most precious. So whatever it's got to do, you've got to do, don't lose sight of that.
Welcome to another episode of Leading with Purpose. Today I have the privilege of speaking with Mr. Vikram Gulati, Country Head and Executive Vice President, Corporate Affairs and Governance, Toyota India. Toyota India is a trailblazer in the automotive industry and has been known for its sustainability efforts, quality and dedication to innovation. Today we're going to be delving in topics related to pioneering efforts in sustainable mobility, initiatives to set it apart, and much more. Thank you so much, Vikram San, for giving your time today for us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really a privilege, and been watching your podcast, and it's really a matter of great privilege that I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please tell us what inspired you to get into this automotive industry, and how has your journey and your passion evolved over time?
Well, automobiles, if you think about it, have given the people the opportunity to live, work, travel, enjoy life in an unimaginable way. They've changed the lives of people over the last 100 odd years. So other than the fact that I'm an avid car lover, what really attracted me to automotive sector is not only the fact that it's one of the largest contributors to national economy, society, but most importantly, it's a sector, an industry that's seeing immense amount of disruption and change, especially from a technology side. So that makes it very interesting, and that's the reason why I find it so fascinating.
Fabulous, amazing. So please tell us what is the meaning of well-to-wheel emissions? I've heard I've heard you talking about this earlier. And also, can you share your strategy towards different renewable sources of energies and alternative fuels, that have been used actually, and especially in context to the progress of India?
So I think it's an excellent question to start with, because automotive sector, what it's facing right now in terms of technological disruption is driven largely by carbon emissions. Okay. And carbon, as you know, is the prime responsible agent for climate change. It's an existential crisis for us, and you just see the amount of heat there is in terms of summers. Now, carbon gets emitted when you're driving a car from the tailpipe.
Right.
That is energy that is being burnt up. So if energy is coming from fossil fuel, so that's the petrol and the diesel sector that's burnt up. Now, you may choose to drive a car without fossil fuels, let's say electricity taken from the grid. So tailpipe emission is zero.
Right.
However, the key thing to learn about carbon emission is, irrespective of the fact whether it comes out from the tailpipe or elsewhere, it has the same bad effect on climate change. So the well-to-wheel way of measuring the impact of cars or vehicles on the environment is basically taking into effect not only the carbon emitted while you're driving the vehicle, but it's also the carbon emitted from the energy that you're using to drive the vehicle. Meaning, if you're using petrol, diesel, the energy it took to extract, refine the crude, transport the crude, take it in the tank, that is well to tank. And in case of electric, it's the kind of energy that you've used, maybe coal or maybe fossil fuel or maybe renewable, to generate the electricity, the transmission of electricity, its final coming to the point and where it gets fed into your car. So the well-to-wheel is a correct parameter to look at the true impact of vehicular emissions, and it goes beyond just the tailpipe.
Wow, wow. And what are the strategies that you are taking up for alternative fuels, Vikram San?
Yes. So if you look at it, one would generally think that if you are not emitting anything from tailpipe, everything is good, right? But that's not the case. especially if you are generating electricity from coal, right? And there is losses of electricity when you transmit it. You have to factor all that in.
Yeah.
Now, each country is different. So some countries have a preponderance of renewable energy, so therefore electricity is clean, and the vehicle using electricity is obviously much more cleaner. But that's not the case in all other countries. For example, in India, 70 to 75% of electricity generated right now is from coal, but we are improving. We are rapidly putting up renewable. So to come to the answer of what you're asking, you see there are multiple technologies and multiple energy pathways to achieve sustainability and low carbon transportation. So it depends solely on the market in terms of what is the energy mix, what is the infrastructure readiness, what are the acceptability of consumers to adopt green technologies. So as a strategy, Toyota, we have all the technologies, all the range of electrified vehicles, alternative fuels. Our approach is to use all of these technologies and try to provide green solutions that are best suited to each country's needs. That way the consumer can adopt faster, impact is better.
Okay, fabulous, fabulous. Can you please tell us the concept of green mobility, you know, having the right car at the right place at the right time? And also, I believe Toyota India is not hurrying to introduce EVs in the market. So can you please tell us about that also?
Okay, first of all, just a fun fact.
Yeah, Hanji.
Toyota, first electrified vehicle that Toyota introduced globally was electric.
Oh, really?
1994, RAV4 in the US market. And since then and now, we've sold over 23 million electrified vehicles. That's the largest number sold by any OEM. Yes, most of these are strong hybrids.
Right.
Right, and there's a reason for it. Now, to your question, in terms of green mobility and how we are moving about it, you see, let's look at India. In India, you have varied sources of green energy. Of course, one is solar, wind, which comes through electricity. The other could be hydrogen, which is generated from electricity, renewable electricity. It could also be biofuels, meaning energy that you make from plants.
Okay.
So, for example, you could have sugarcane. From sugarcane, you could have molasses, which then get converted into ethanol. Now, that ethanol can actually drive vehicles. And ethanol, if you look at it, since it's coming from the plant, it's completely recyclable, it's green. In fact, it has the lowest carbon footprint that you can imagine.
Wow.
You could also generate energy from waste, right? And maybe, compressed biogas. You could also do ethanol from parali, which is getting burnt. So there are a lot of ways of sourcing green energy to run the vehicles. Now, the vehicles that run on such green energy are obviously green vehicles. But remember, the test for green vehicles is not the tailpipe, it's well to wheel, because you have to look at the entire picture.
The overall.
And in India, we have introduced strong hybrids in near mass segments, which are getting good traction. As per a study done by Indian Institute of Science, commissioned by the Government of India, currently in India today, a strong hybrid has the lowest carbon emission compared to any other technology that is available, including battery electrics.
Oh, wow.
The carbon emission on a well-to-wheel, as per that study, from a strong hybrid, if my memory serves me right, is 110 grams to a kilometer, whereas that for a battery electric is 130 grams to a kilometer. And of course, since we are going to put more and more of renewable energy into the energy mix, that number is going to change. Battery electric vehicles are going to become greener, much greener. But today it makes sense to not only go for battery electric, which is necessary, but also go for strong hybrids. So, in addition, just one last point, we've also we were the first to introduce the pilot run for the hydrogen car, the Mirai. And we've recently did a launch of the prototype of the world's first BS6 compliant electrified flexi-fuel vehicle, which is a combination of an electric vehicle, an electric powertrain,
Yeah.
and an engine which can run 100% on ethanol,
Wow.
making it the cleanest in the world.
Oh, wow, fascinating. I want to just understand for the audience sake. So, can you
Yeah.
please tell us in very simple words what is meaning of strong hybrids?
Okay, that's a very good question. In fact, what is a hybrid?
Yeah.
A hybrid is a vehicle which has two powertrains.
Right.
Right. It can have a conventional powertrain like
Yeah.
a gasoline powertrain or
Right.
petrol powertrain, and it has a full-fledged electric powertrain.
Electric.
Now, there are various types of hybrids in itself.
Yeah.
Now, the test for a hybrid, which I keep saying strong hybrid,
Yeah.
is a vehicle which can run on pure electric mode with engine shut off.
Oh, okay.
So
got
if you
it.
can do that, that's called a strong hybrid. There are variations where the vehicle is not able to do that.
Yeah, the mild hybrids also.
Yeah.
We've heard of so many.
So
mild hybrids.
that's the real definition. And if you take why are you taking petrol to run the vehicle? You're basically solving key problems. A problem of range, because you don't have to charge the vehicle,
Bother about
because the electricity is getting generated on board.
Yeah.
Second, you don't need to have very large batteries. A
Right.
strong hybrid would have a battery pack of around 1.5 kilowatt hour, whereas a similar electric would have anything between 60 to 70 kilowatt hour.
Oh, that's a
And-
huge difference.
And battery,
Yeah.
is not only very expensive but also very heavy.
Right.
And the last bit is it gives you the opportunity to go electric only, and the system, the computer on board, runs the system in an optimal manner.
Yeah.
So that there's a switch between electric or the gasoline
Through
engine.
regenerative braking.
Regenerative
also.
braking actually captures the energy which would have been wasted
Yeah.
as heat because of braking.
Yes.
So that is a feature that is available both in electrics and a strong hybrid. So both.
Right. So, Vikram San, do you think there's still a need for multiple powertrain options to exist?
Absolutely. I'll just give you some statistics. Last year, we as a country sold 4.2 million cars,
Okay.
42 lakhs.
Wow.
Out of that, only 2% were electric and 1.8 to 2% were hybrids. So 96% of 4.2 million cars put on the roads last year were petrol, diesel or gas. Now these 4 odd million are going to remain on the roads for 15 years.
Yeah.
Now it's a huge gap, and if you do some calculations, I was reading this BCG report,
Right.
it says that even if you were to somehow reach a 30% new vehicle sales for electric by 2030, which is very difficult,
Yeah.
even government is projecting something like 10, 12 to 15%.
Yeah.
Then the predominant new vehicle sales even then is going to be petrol or diesel, not green. So the cumulative impact is going to be huge increase in fossil fuel consumption and carbon emission. So today the need is for scale and speed to replace petrol and diesel by anything that's green. It could be ethanol, it could be a strong hybrid, it could be a vehicle run on compressed biogas, anything that is giving less carbon emissions as compared to the conventional internal combustion engine.
Very fascinating. Wow, this world is amazing. I believe you've written some book also. I came to know about. Can you please tell about what book you've written? Vikram
Well,
San?
this was a long time ago. This was in my early avatar when I was
Yeah.
in the government. I happened to be a 92 batch civil servant.
Wow, yeah.
Joined the railways a long time back. And in one of my stints, probably 12 odd years back, I was interested with the task of imagining a future that would be heading towards electrified vehicles.
Okay.
And therefore was author of the National Electric Mission Mobility Plan 2020.
Okay.
This came out in somewhere around 2012-13.
Yeah.
And this was the blueprint in terms of imagining what it would require to shift from internal combustion to electrified future,
Yeah.
and what the potential would be. But it's it's really in the last few years that government's really taken up in a very big way to try and support this shift, and we're seeing the results. there are huge increase in sale of electric vehicles, hybrids, etc. And that's thanks to all the huge work that's been done by the government in terms of policy.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to know about Toyota India had announced a goal to achieve net zero in manufacturing operations by 2035. So what are the steps that Toyota India are taking to achieve such a goal?
Okay, really nice question. Remember we talked about well to wheel?
Yes, yes.
There is something that's even more important, that's called life cycle.
Okay.
Meaning the car that I'm manufacturing and giving to my consumer, and then consumer finally kind of dumps it, all of that has carbon footprint.
Oh,
extracting raw materials,
yeah,
converting raw materials to intermediate goods like steel, rubber, etc. Then using those to make parts, and then parts to cars, and then use cars, and then cars go to the grave.
Oh, right.
So it's a accounting of carbon impact from cradle to grave.
Yeah.
Now we have taken a challenge in 2015 to be net zero carbon by 2050 on a life cycle basis.
Wow. Yeah,
now one key part of this is the manufacturing.
Right.
So globally our target for manufacturing zero carbon is 2035.
Okay.
So what we've done here in India, I'm really proud about this, is we're very, very close to becoming net zero carbon, perhaps in a year or two. And the reason for this is, first of all, focus on efficiency, reducing the requirement for energy itself. Second is turning 100% renewable for our electricity requirements. So all our grid electricity requirement is met by renewable energy. We have huge captive renewable energy sources.
Amazing, yeah.
And the third element is, of course, looking at the waste that gets generated. We don't call it waste, we call it wealth, and we try to recycle it so that impact of that is low. We're also working towards seeing the balanced small amount of energy that is not green so far, that's a very small amount, could also be converted. Now we've done this, and because we have a larger goal of life cycle zero, we are passing this learning, understanding, knowledge to our suppliers. And we're also doing this with our dealers, the value chain. Logistics, we are reducing by shifting to rail, and rail today runs primarily on electricity. So a lot of these things are happening, and that will go in a long way to making the goal possible. And the other key thing I like to tell about our plant, and I'm really excited about it, is the fact that our plant has something like 330,000 trees.
Wow.
115 acres of green. It has 25 acres of exclusive 17 theme parks for teaching environment sustainability for kids. And with last few years, we have taught 14,000 children, and it's experiential learning. It's not classroom learning. 17 theme parks solely dedicated to environment themes. You let the kids go there, explore and learn through experiential learning. What we are trying to do is make environment champions of the future. Child can change the environment, can change the whole thing in terms of society and its outlook towards this. So that's the other part. And the last one is about water, which is really important. Automotive plant usually consumes huge amounts of water.
Right.
So normally when it is set up, there are agreements with the state government that you will use the main pipeline. So we saw that in future it's going to be it's not going to be a good ask to say that please give me water for manufacturing when people are going thirsty. So we started this action long time back. So today we are 95% self-sufficient for water through either recycling or rainwater harvesting.
Wow.
In addition, today with the efforts that we've taken in the plant, the groundwater level has gone up from 90 feet, which it was when we started this activity, to 16 feet today, thereby also positively impacting the surrounding areas.
Wow, it's so incredible, such kind of efforts towards sustainability and mobility solutions. That's like really mind-blowing. I'm so happy to hear this. Vikram San, Can you please tell us Toyota India's approach towards innovation and technology with respect to emerging trends like V2X, autonomous driving, AI?
It's a very, very pertinent question. As we sit today, the convergence of IoT, AI, and robotics is bringing in a seamless integration of the physical world, the digital world, and the biological world. And you're seeing this, this will have huge impact not only in society and economy, but also in manufacturing as well as transportation. And for example, IoT clubbed with AI could provide solutions to not only safer driving, but also better enforcement.
Okay.
So maybe you don't even need that policeman on the chalk. If you have AI and IoT and enabled systems that are integrated into the intelligent transport systems. So the vehicles of tomorrow are really going to be highly digitalized. They are going to be not only integrated for the informatics and the information and the entertainment, but also in terms of the safety features, and will be basically talking to the environment outside. And this development is happening very rapidly. We are also, as Toyota, focusing on this, focusing on digitization, looking at electrification and all of that. So it's not only in the products that we manufacture, but also in the manufacturing itself.
Okay.
So the manufacturing plants themselves are becoming much, much more smarter, much more intelligent, and hence much more efficient.
And what about, related to Indian driving conditions? Like, we see the road, such chaotic driving on Indian roads. So what about autonomous driving on Indian roads? How will people take to that?
I think it will take a different level of AI to sort that one out. But honestly speaking, I think technology will have to come in, but technology cannot be the sole solution provider.
Right.
It really has to be basic fundamentals of people beginning to follow the rules.
Become more educated towards
educated,
this and
being more responsible and disciplined.
More sincere about,
Because you could have the best of the systems.
Yeah, that's true.
The system is there to support you.
Right.
As a human, you can always override it. So I think while technology definitely is going to improve safety in the Indian context also, and we are seeing at least ADAS level 2 features coming in most of the products that are offered by most of the OEMs. So, but on top of it, we'll need that greater discipline, greater focus on following the rules.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying. It's not possible without that. If you're not wearing a seat belt, what will other safety features or anything else?
The other day, I was going with somebody, don't know the name, and the guy had a very high-end vehicle, and if you don't kind of put on the seat belt, the alarm goes off. So he had a very simple solution to it. He had the seat belt plugged in, but the only thing was seat belt wasn't on him; it was in the back, and he's sitting in front of the seat belt. So there you have.
That's, oh damn! When will this mindset change? What should we do to kind of change that? That's a very, very critical and important.
The shift has to come from the people themselves.
People themselves, exactly. Okay, Vikram San, now talking, we want to know about your leadership purview also. We want to understand. Can you please share with us some of the leadership lessons or experiences that have shaped you as a leader?
Well, Toyota's taught me a lot of lessons and a lot of good ones.
Right.
And I think one of the key really important lessons I've learned here is that organizations that succeed focus continually on learning and development, and it's a matter of continual improvement you have to look at. Plus, it's the approach. Problems can be perceived in whatever way.
Right.
But one way of looking at problems is looking at them as opportunities for not only learning but growing.
Yeah.
So it's bad news first, but that bad news first is intended to learn, improve, and correct.
Absolutely. Basically, mistakes are also lessons. Actually, right? So
yes. That takes me to one of these, quotes I really love.
Yeah.
And that's from Akio-san, and he
Sure.
says that if you're really afraid of making mistakes, you'll never learn.
Oh,
You never learn anything.
perfect.
So I think that's I think embedded into the culture.
Absolutely. So, purposeful leadership is becoming increasingly important. So, how do you incorporate purpose in your role?
I think it's you don't have to make an effort. If the organization that you work for is already wedded to very good, very good goals, very
Right.
good targets. For example, if you look at, if I take my own example,
Yeah.
the fact that we are so passionate about sustainability, people development, and safety.
Yeah.
So these things start resonating for you, and then if you then take these up as a passion, not as a job, they start resonating with your team. So naturally, the leadership turns into a purposeful endeavor.
Fabulous. That's so simply put. I mean, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Coming to the short answer questions, like 1 or 2 line answers. What's a small daily habit that has had a big impact on your success as a leader?
Well, I have this habit of introspecting, learning from the reflections that I have, and of course trying to see how we can improve and build the team in terms of empowering them. So it's this thing about continually thinking about what you did, and was it really good, or and how you can improve further.
Fabulous. What has failure taught you?
Well, I think one key learning from failure is that it's the best thing for sustained success. So if you don't have faced failure, you don't learn anything. If you don't learn anything, you can't grow, and if you can't grow, you can't have sustainable growth.
Fabulous. Wow. Okay. What book, movie, or song has inspired you the most on your leadership journey, and why?
Many, but there are many movies and books that I'm really fascinated about.
Yeah.
But two, I'd like to specifically mention 2 movies. One is Invictus.
Yeah.
It's about President Mandela when apartheid ended,
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
Rugby
fabulous.
World
Yeah.
Cup. It's about how he brought everyone together for a cause. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
The other one is Maji, the mountain man.
Oh,
Do you remember this one? It's about a man who lost his wife because he couldn't take her
Right.
to a hospital. So he spent 22 years breaking down a mountain
to create a way.
for the community.
Oh my God, yes.
So I mean, these are real life stories that kind of give you the perspective of what human endeavor can do.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, what car do you drive?
A Lexus ES300H, which is a strong hybrid.
Awesome. Okay, what was your first car?
My first car was when I was in Botswana. This is the first car I drove. It was a Toyota Corolla.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, how do you keep yourself motivated?
You don't really have to keep yourself motivated actually. So first thing is you have to be in a place where you love doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Second, be passionate about it. And if those 2 things don't get you motivated, then you should continuously also try to learn, relearn, and evolve and innovate and improve. That would do the job.
Wow, that is so beautifully put. Thank you so much. What's your favorite quotation?
Well, I just mentioned about
Right.
Akio-san. That is my favorite.
Okay, can you please repeat that?
Yeah.
sir?
So Akio-san, basically it says that if you're afraid of failing,
Yeah.
you will never learn anything.
If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of career advice, what would it be?
Well, I think it would be never take anything for granted. Always try to challenge the status quo, and try to see if you can better and improve whatever is there.
Super. Okay, what's the most memorable piece of advice you've ever got?
Well, there have been many, but I think the one I really like would be, it's about perspective.
Okay.
We get stuck up in these small things in terms of daily things, small targets, big targets, etc. We forget, We are a small speck in a large universe.
That's true.
Life is about 60, 70 odd years. Relationships are most precious. So whatever it's got to do, you've got to do, don't lose sight of that.
Wonderful. I mean, that's a very, very amazing. I mean, relationships and human beings, and we are social beings, and actually that's a great source of happiness. So one should not lose sight of that. Exactly. If you could have coffee with any historical figure, who would it be, and what leadership advice would you seek from them?
Sardar Patel. How on earth? And he worked and got us together and put up and contributed towards a beautiful constitution and united us, and gave us, the coming generations, the honor of being a citizen of Bharat.
Wow, fabulous. How do you maintain a work-life balance, and what are your favorite ways to relax outside of work?
Well, try to do my best, but I'm not sure if I can be honest enough to say I do that, because it is a bit of a challenge. But yeah, walking, listening to podcasts a lot, whenever I'm traveling or when I'm walking, etc. And catching up as much as possible with friends and family.
Fabulous. Your biggest accomplishment?
Well, there've been a number of them. I don't know whether they have any big material impact or not, but I think the NEMP 2020 document that I authored, I would count that as something I really like.
Awesome, awesome. Let's come to the rapid fire questions now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's this or that.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready? Yeah. Okay. Electric or ICE engine?
Anything green.
There you have it. Sedan or SUV?
SUV.
Manual transmission or automatic?
Automatic.
Coupe or convertible?
Coupe.
Front wheel drive, rear wheel drive or all wheel drive?
All wheel drive.
Turbocharged engine or naturally aspirated engine?
Turbocharged.
Apple CarPlay or Android Auto?
Android any day.
Fortuner or Innova Krista?
Fortuner.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Collision avoidance system or lane departure warning system?
Both and much more.
Both and much more. Thank you so much. This was such a fabulous session, Vikram San. It was amazing chatting with you, and thank you for this great insights and experiences that you've shared, and wishing you all the very best.
No, thank you for having me. It was really lovely to be here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vikram.
Thank you.
Thank you.